My role as part of the Chief Sustainability Officer of Malaysia Aviation Group is to drive a clear net zero transition plan for Malaysia Aviation Group to get to net zero. The aviation industry is a very hard to abate sector. Currently, it only contributes to about 2 to 2.5% of global emission. But if we don't do anything, it could contribute up to 10% of global emissions by 2050. Now, for the airline industry to hit towards net zero, there are typically 4 key levers to move there. The first is operational improvements, like how do you optimize the flight path of flights to reduce the jet burn. The second one is new technology, as we shift to new fuel-efficient aircraft, or even new technologies like hydrogen or electric. The third is carbon markets, basically whether you purchase carbon credits. But the big lever is biofuels, and we call it sustainable aviation fuels. So moving from fossil fuels to other alternative feedstocks that will basically power your flight essentially. So for the aviation industry, these are the 4 major levers that help us drive towards net zero. And the biggest lever of all is new technology of aircraft, as well as sustainable aviation fuel. How do we start putting investments in sustainable aviation fuel? So the past 1 year, we've launched a couple of demonstration flights on our sustainable aviation fuel. In addition to that, the group, Malaysia Aviation Group, has started, replacing our current aircraft with more fuel-efficient aircraft. So for example, our 737s, we've moved to the MAX 8s. That will give you up to 15 to 20% less fuel burn. We just recently ordered the next-gen wide-body A330s to replace our current wide-bodies. That will also give you close to double-digit reductions in also fuel emission. So these are some of the efforts we are taking towards getting to net zero. Everybody has to play their role. For the government side, we expect a multi-dimensional role. We want them to regulate, we want them to put mandates, but in addition, we want them to also have incentives in place for us to facilitate that transition to net zero. We want airline partners to collaborate and work together, because if we partner together among us, even as competitors, we are able to drive demand, we are able to bring down unit cost of production going forward. What I think is very important across the industry is that we are guided by data and discipline towards our transition to net zero. And that's what I think we want climate campaigners to hold us to account, by our commitment through data and discipline of action. It won't be easy. It's going to be a collective effort from everybody, from governments, private sector, across the value chain, but I'm confident we'll get there.